To find an x-intercept, we are going to plug in 0 for our y value. So if I look over here and if I just go ahead and say, let me make this y a 0, now we have to solve for x to see what the x-intercepts are. One way to take a look at this is, let's go ahead and make this a fraction. When it's a fraction, we can cross multiply and say, let's take 0 times 2x minus 4, and 0 times anything is 0, equals 1 times 4x plus 1. And now I have a more simple equation to go ahead and solve for x. You know, we subtract 1, and then we're going to divide by 4. So we have x equals negative 1/4. Now the thing we want to be careful about is we are finding an intercept, which is a point. If I leave my answer like this, I'm saying the intercept is a vertical line because that's notation for a vertical line. So, you know, I'm going to be picky. If it's an intercept, we have to write an answer as a point where the x was a negative 1/4 and the y that we plugged in to get that was a 0. So there's our x-intercept. On our next example over here, finding the x-intercept, you may have noticed that when we put in a 0 on this first example and cross-multiplied, we ended up with 0 equal to our numerator. That will happen every time. So if you want to shortcut through the cross-multiplying, you can go ahead and say, well, I know I'm going to end up with 0 equals x squared plus 5x plus 6. And we can go ahead and solve for x. If you have a term with an x squared and a term with an x, we're left with factoring. When there's just a 1 in front of our x squared, we can go ahead, take a look at our last number 6, and say, okay, factors of 6 that add up to this middle 5. And, you know, I would say, well, 2 times 3 is 6, and 2 plus 3 is 5. So this is going to factor into x plus 2, x plus 3, because those were both positive 2 and 3. And it equals 0. So now that we have it factored, anywhere that we see an x, go ahead and set that equal to 0. X plus 2 equals 0. X plus 3 equals 0. You know, subtract 2. So we have x is a negative 2. And then we'd subtract 3 over here. And x is a negative 3. Again, though, we want to be accurate in our notation. You know, math is a very accurate thing. So since these are x-intercepts we're finding, the first one is a negative 2, 0, and the second one is a negative 3, 0. I wouldn't want you to get marked off for having the wrong notation, so make sure you leave your intercepts as points.